Would you like to play a game? Would you like to read my email?
Don't play her game.
There were just like thousands of entities waiting behind that door.
A welt shows up on my wrist like somebody had grabbed me with like a hot iron or something.
Yeah, it was like fingers.
Okay, so you agree that you're asking for it when you play a game.
No.
That is what you just said.
We decided to theme this episode paranormal games and sleepover.
Hello.
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 How we doing, everyone? It's September. It's officially spooky. It's spooky season, officially.
Pumpkins have grown.
Pumpkins exist.
They do. They might be in your backyard.
They might be, they might not be. Either way, they're there.
I actually really want to do, I feel like every once in a while people DM this, probably to you too, but like especially my friends, whenever they get served one of those like reels or TikToks of people using the spooky skull molds to grow squash and pumpkins into. So then you like literally have one that already looks like, you don't have to do anything to it.
I've never seen that.
Oh, what? Really? Okay. Well,
That is very cool.
when I eventually garden next year, this will be something that we do.
It's not going to happen. Let's be honest.
That's why I was looking at the ground. I can't make eye contact if I am not truthfully committing.
Like if I hold your hand and we go do it right now, then yes, it would happen. But there's no way.
There's no way. This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two girls, one ghost. And we are your ghostesses. That is Corinne.
Hello?
I am Sabrina. And this is your ghost, Sven.
Well, technically he's a skeleton, but the spirit of Sven does haunt many of you. We have heard.
And poor Sven has lost a lot of limbs. He's come a long way.
I know a lot of people don't listen to this podcast in order, but we do have a mystery that has revolved around Sven. And that is that when we were first choosing to use this space for podcast recording, and I was about to go on maternity leave, Sven was propped up in here.
Yep.
And then for 3 months, I never entered this space. And when we came back into the room for Sabrina and I to start setting up our office, Sven was in pieces.
Missing his lower half.
The hand I'm responsible for, I sat on him with all the weight that I had. So,
Or is it Noah's fault?
maybe all 6 ounces of
Maybe
him
that's
with
why
my
Noah-
80-pound
maybe
gear.
that's
6
why-
ounces.
6 ounces.
I can't even talk.
Maybe that's why Noah loves Sven so much, because he's like, I feel bad for breaking your hand.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
buddy.
Sorry, buddy.
It's okay. But you guys are spooky, and this is
You
our
are.
season, and we're very excited.
We are.
Even though technically we started celebrating in August.
Technically, we started celebrating 8 years ago and have not stopped.
Yeah, that's true. Decoration-wise, I guess.
Sure.
You know.
Yes. But today we have a very fun, special episode. We're going to be joined by very special guests from another podcast, a spooky podcast called Drinking the Koolaid. Hosts Amanda and Cassidy are joining us to share their own personal ghost stories at the end of this episode.
Mhm.
And then we're on their podcast talking all about paranormal games. So we decided to theme this episode paranormal games and sleepover.
As it relates to their stories, which you will hear at the end of this episode.
Exactly.
Do you want to start?
Oh.
What do I do with my hands? What do we do with my hands?
What do we do? Well, I can hold your hands. I mean,
That's great.
I do feel like there's an element of I follow you and do what you manifest for me to do. But there is also an element of like you need me to hold your hand
Yeah.
to do things.
100%. My brain doesn't function anymore.
You have tiny fingers. Like you have a tiny hand.
With the hamburger helper glove hands.
No, they're
the
like,
length of my
but they're
finger is
so
quite short.
little. Like I feel like I'm holding a toddler's hand.
The fingers.
The fingers.
the
The fingers have grown.
I told you I feel disconnected to my body. The fingers, not my fingers. Just the fingers, you know. I do. Never mind.
What?
We don't have to keep talking about my hands.
No, now I need to know.
Well, Brianna pointed this out to me years ago, and now every once in a while I'll like catch myself, like a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, she's right. That the way that I use my body is kind of like rugged and heavy and I don't know, maybe like troll-like. Brianna didn't tell me that, but that's how I would describe my gait, you know?
Troll-like.
But my hands are like kind of like almost like Disney princess, like they're fluffy, they're
They
dainty,
are.
la la la, and then the rest of my body's like poof, poof.
I think it's because your nails too. Yeah, there is something Disney princess about your hands.
My hands don't match the rest of me.
Disney princess hands and the pumpkins
This
have
is
grown.
the Fiona. This is the Shrek.
I'm very glad you shared that with us. That was important and necessary. But now we'll talk about you all. Okay, do you want a haunted game of hide and seek or don't play her game?
Don't play her game.
Okay.
I'm scared.
This is from our listener, Caitlin. I give you 100% permission to use my name if you are up to reading my email.
Oh, wow. What a challenge.
Would you like to play a game? Would you like to read my email?
Don't play her game.
Alrighty. Let me start by saying I love your podcast. I listen to it at work all the time. I work in retail, and I'm definitely not supposed to be listening to your podcast, but I do. So, as most of us were, it seems, my friend and I were little creeps all through middle school and going into high school, too. We loved spooky games, demons, and ghost adventures. Me and my best friend actually met Zach and Aaron when they came to our town for an episode. But back to my story. We were creeps, and our favorite game to play in the basement was hide and go seek in the dark. It was our go-to game. We would even tape blankets up all over the windows to make it completely pitch black.
Commitment.
And we would wander around in the dark trying to find everyone. So it was also a given all of the hiders would try to scare the seekers and act like demons. A given, obviously. We would literally scratch the walls and cackle and do whatever else we could to scare the ever-living crap out of each other. As I said, we were serious creeps. But I learned not too long ago that playing this is actually one of the worst games to play because we were inviting certain things in, especially if you're acting like demons.
Right. Yeah.
So one night, me and my best friends were having a big sleepover at my house in my basement. And of course, we were playing our favorite game. Some chaos later, we were all just kind of running around in the dark having fun when two of my friends came up to me laughing hysterically, telling me they had just summoned something in the bathroom. They had summoned dun, 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 Paul Walker.
What?
I think it's an actor.
Yeah, he was in the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, right.
He passed away a few years ago.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This is also such a different direction. I thought that it was going to be Bloody Mary.
well, hold on to your butt. We were dumb middle schoolers, and they were obsessed with him, and they wanted to see him because he was a hunk. But unfortunately, this gave two other friends a real bright idea
Uh-oh.
to summon Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
And that was probably the last thing that needed to happen to explode all of the other BS we had been doing. About a month later, my best friend, who we will call Grace, told me she had a strange and vivid dream of my basement. I didn't think much of it, and she began telling me what happened in said dream. In her dream, all of our youth group from church was for some reason having a sleepover in my basement. So to give some imagery, my basement was a pretty big open space. We had a TV and couch in the first part of the room, opening from the stairs, and that room was open. And then it continued to where we kept our computer, desk, books, kind of like a little study/office thing. And there was a hallway between the two rooms. The bathroom was the first door on the left, with our closet under the stairs across from it. Further down was our dungeon of a laundry room, and further down on the left with my sister's room across the hall from it. My friend was headed down the hallway. In her dream, she told me she was the only one awake. And suddenly, a girl that resembled the Grudge began to crawl back and forth from our laundry room to my sister's room.
Ooh. Ooh.
She said she continued to do so until she slowly started to make her way towards my friend Grace. Promptly, Grace woke up. This obviously creeped me out, but I chalked it up to us just having played too many creepy games in my basement. But then later, not too long after this dream, my sister stopped sleeping downstairs and started sleeping in the room next to mine upstairs. I asked, "What's going on?" And well, melty emoji face. For a long time, I thought what my sister told me back then was also just a dream. But nope, she really experienced this. My sister said she stopped sleeping downstairs because it felt dark and evil. One night, she woke up because the TV turned itself on. She walked down the hall and saw a girl sitting on our couch, her hair covering her face. She thought it was me at first and called out my name, told me to go back to bed. I don't know what happened at that point. She's never told me, and I don't like asking, and I think we both hate talking about it. She doesn't want to give whatever it is any attention, but it scared her so badly, she no longer goes downstairs. About a year ago, and we've since moved from this house, my mom and I were out to lunch, and somehow we ended up on this topic. And she told me she dreamt of this entity as well. She told me in this dream, this girl with hair covering her face was standing over my brother while my brother was sleeping. My brother has epilepsy, so my mom had this thought in her dream that it was actually my brother having like a seizure and in an unconscious state, and that this entity was standing over him, almost causing it. During that time, my brother had been at a peak of having really, really bad seizures, which thinking about it now sounds really bad, and I hope my friends and I were not the cause of him getting to that point. But my mom knew in her dream she was trying to take over my brother, that when he was not in a strong state of mind, this entity was trying to take his body.
Oh my God.
That terrified my mother.
Yeah.
Naturally. She hates everything spooky and scary, and I think this is a big factor. My sister, after all of this had happened, asked my dad to bless the basement. And so we all gathered in my sister's room for my father to bless and rededicate the basement to the light of Christ. During the prayer, it immediately felt so much better, like a breath of fresh air after being in a humid, stuffy room. After that, we stopped playing those games in the basement or in the house, and I was pretty careful about what we did in houses after that. I'm still afraid to say or think of her name, and I never think or say it more than once. And I definitely don't look into mirrors at night. Or if I do, I make a goofy face or twerk or something and make it funny. So even if there are any ghosts, there's no way they would engage with me after they see what I do. Yeah, they're like, you can't twerk. We're not doing this. Next time I'll tell a touching story. Love, Caitlin.
I know Caitlin said The Grudge, but I think they meant The Ring, right? Like Samara coming out of the television. Like it just seems so...
Well, The Grudge also is like...
I guess like scurries around.
Yeah. And like
Yeah,
the
I guess-
long hair.
No, The Grudge isn't The Grudge like a little short.
Boy.
It's a boy with a little short haircut.
But I think there's
But
multiple
he
versions
scurries
of
around.
The Grudge, aren't there? Oh, yeah. I think I could do that noise for hours.
For a really long time.
Without breathing. Or I think I could breathe while making that noise.
Do like the circular breathing
Yeah.
or whatever that people who are amazing saxophonists can
That's
do.
me. Sabrina's on the sax. Saxy Brini.
Saxabrini.
Saxy.
Yeah, so let's not have that happen to us. That was very creepy.
Yeah. Well, it
And
is.
to have multiple people,
I know.
it's more than just one person. Like to have multiple people witness the same kind of sort of weird description. And then it does make me really sad for her brother, like just thinking that, you know, he's already experiencing something so terrifying.
Right.
And then to be preyed on with this
By
other
this entity.
Yeah.
Bloody Mary is such an interesting legend, and we talked about the whole history of it back in, like, I don't know, early days
Mhm.
of our podcast. But I do feel like, similar to Ouija boards and similar to like most divination practices, I don't necessarily think you're summoning Bloody Mary specifically, but by communicating or calling upon in that ritualistic way,
Mhm.
you're inviting something dark.
Yeah.
And they're playing in a basement where all of the windows are blocked out. Like they're almost doing a ritual that they didn't know they were doing.
Right.
And they're pretending to be demons. They're trying to
Mhm.
scare one another. Like they're festering all of this energy.
Yeah.
So
Creepy stuff. Creepy stuff.
Don't mess around with Bloody Mary. I think I've said this, but my mom got scratched by Bloody Mary.
I can't remember the details.
I think it's just that she, I think literally just that.
Who'd she play with? Or
by
did she play
herself.
alone?
She was alone. She went in the bathroom and she said, Bloody Mary,
3 times.
3 times in the mirror, in the dark.
How old was she?
Probably like middle school, high school.
Yeah.
And she got scratched on the face. She didn't see anything.
Just like what scratched her?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I believe like Bloody Mary.
Right. It's something. It's
Yeah.
something. It's like how I feel about Zozo, like the Ouija board demon. Like I don't
Mhm.
really think, like I think if I were dead, I would be Zozo because it's a funny way to creep people out.
Yeah. But,
You're mad at me for that?
Yeah. okay, I have one that is just about a creepy sleepover. And creepy it is. Hi, Sabrina and Corinne. My name is Bridget, and my husband and I found your podcast while we were driving across country, and it definitely helped me stay awake for the drive. Since then, I've been binging and absolutely love you guys. I've had a few creepy and paranormal encounters throughout my life, but this one is definitely the scariest.
Great.
So, back when I was around maybe the 7th or 8th grade, I went to spend the night at a friend's house for the first time. The house was pretty small, the kind that the upstairs was only about 5 steps, and then the small hallway with the doors on either side. We slept in the living room that night, my friend on one couch and me on the other across from her. And when I was laying on the couch and looking straight towards my feet, I could see the stairs to the hallway. We turned on a movie and I passed out almost immediately because I was just so drained from whatever shenanigans we had been up to that day. Now, I've always been a super deep sleeper to the point where when people try to wake me up, sometimes I will just sleep talk instead of actually waking up. That night, I woke up from a very deep sleep to the feeling of someone staring at me, but from very up close. I have never before or since been woken up by that feeling. Well, I was facing the back of the couch when I opened my eyes, so I turned around to see what it was, and I saw a completely black, human-like figure standing right at the edge of the couch, right by my face. It immediately scared the shit out of me, and I spun around, and then it was gone. And after that, I just could not shake the feeling that someone or something was watching me from that upstairs hallway. So I ran across the room. I wedged myself between my friend and the other couch. I chalked it up to my eyes just playing tricks on me, and eventually I was able to fall back to sleep. After that, I decided I wouldn't tell my friend about any of this because I didn't really believe I'd actually seen what I saw. Well, weeks later, my friend called me, and she is freaking out. She said she was home alone. She was cleaning the floors at the bottom of the stairs when she saw, standing right at the top, orange feet with black legs and a black body. She said when she threw her head up to look, whatever it was just disappeared. I started freaking out and immediately told her what I saw that one night. And so now we're both freaking out even more. And then she calls me again a few days later and said that her sister one night before both mine and my friend's experience was at the kitchen sink getting some water when she saw through the reflection of the window someone walk out of the shared room across the hall and into the bathroom. She thought it was weird because she didn't see the light turn on. So then she goes to see who it is and there is nobody. So she looks in their room and everyone is asleep. She looks in her parents' room. They are also asleep. So I'm curious what kind of spirit you guys think that this could be. There might have been some other encounters she told me about, but I kind of forget. I also used to hear voices while falling asleep or waking up back in my childhood home, and I used to think that that was a normal sleep thing until I moved out and it stopped happening. I'm curious what your take is on this. Stay spooky, Bridget.
Well, Bridget, you're definitely spooky.
Yeah.
Okay, this is creepy, but I feel like the entity's just watching, not totally like malevolent. Like it feels benign. And
It's watching from very up close, though, which is creepy.
well, sure. I'm assigning gender. I don't know. But this entity.
I like that you're viewing it as a woman and I'm fully viewing it as a chicken because it was like orange feet, but they didn't describe what the feet looked like and a whole big black body and black legs. I'm picturing Big Bird, but like black.
Okay, I was picturing like an entity that isn't able to fully present as anything. Like, we don't know how spirits work. We don't. Unfortunately, if you came here trying to find out, we have no answers. I'm imagining it just that's all it can present, and which is a scary presentation, but it isn't scary. Like,
yeah, I guess it hasn't done anything. Beyond just scare the crap out of people from it just presenting itself
just
without
existing
so far.
I like that you thought it was like a chicken.
Well, orange feet. Were they human?
I'm thinking like a bad spray tan or something.
But then a black body and orange feet?
Because the black body can't present. Like it's like only the feet are showing.
But it is creepy. This is actually this whole like little sleepover paranormal games is a great time. You can't see it. It's off screen, but I have framed here from the Williston Observer, Williston, Vermont. My friend in middle school, Lauren Minier, had a sleepover at my house and wrote about her haunted experience.
Love it.
In our local newspaper.
It's in the newspaper.
Clipped it out, framed it.
I love it. Should I read the other one? Haunted Game of Hide and Seek?
Yeah.
Great. This is from our listener, Amy, who's a fellow Jersey girl. Dear Ghostesses, I found the podcast a few months ago and I'm upset. What? Why am I upset? It's not.
Did we upset you?
It's not what it says.
Oh,
It says I'm obsessed.
I am upset.
Or maybe I'm just upset with my brain right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very tongue-tied. I'm struggling to speak.
Same. Amy said, I listened to one of your recent encounters episodes where you requested more stories about haunted games, and I cannot believe I never wrote this to you. Let me preface the story with saying that I was a very spooky kid, and I forced all of my friends to play this game with me when we were around 9 or 10 years old, and they are still to this day traumatized while I had a great time.
Oh, this is already bringing me back to the Bloody Joey email from years ago.
At the time, my family was living in an old colonial-style home, which was built in the 1920s, so as you can imagine, it had tons of spiritual activity. And this game that I made everyone play is hide and seek. But as a spooky kid, I made the game as scary as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So here are the different rules that we had to follow. 1, the game must take place in the basement. 2, the lights must be off. 3, no flashlights are allowed. 4, no one is allowed to hide together. 5, the person who is it must physically touch the people they are finding. 6, the hiders have 5 minutes to hide in the basement while the lights are on. 7, after 5 minutes, the seeker turns the lights off and begins searching. 8, whoever's the last one found wins.
Mm-hmm.
So my friends only ever agreed to play this on my birthday because it scared them so much, but it was my birthday, so I could have them do whatever I wanted. The basement had a back area where the washer and dryer was located, and that area was filled with American Girl dolls, a rocking horse, bottles of wine from my parents' wedding, and anything else that, you can just shove in a basement corner. It was also the darkest part of the basement. So obviously, I had to hide there. All of my other friends were too scared to sit back there in the dark alone, but I loved it. I was never found because the person who was it was always way too scared to go back there and find me. So naturally, I always won the game. I forget who was it this round, but I'll call them L. I got situated in my dark corner. L turned the lights off and came down to search. Again, no flashlights are allowed, so the only way to search is basically by touching everything in your path until you find a person.
I don't like that.
Elle found 4 people pretty quickly in the front area of the basement. I like to imagine that all of them just stood right next to the entrance.
Just like hunkering, touching each other because they're so scared
and
in the dark.
Like, just find us so that we can end this game.
Yeah. And also, if anything scary happens, you're right by the stairs. You can escape really quick.
And that is when I heard someone move towards me. Now, you are allowed to change spots during the game as long as you're not hiding with another person. So I assumed Elle was getting closer to someone's hiding spot and that they decided to move to my spot without knowing I was there. I heard them get closer and I whispered, "Hey, I'm back here." No response. I didn't want to get found, so I stopped talking. This person got so close to me, we were practically cuddling, which wasn't that weird because my friends and I are super close, so cuddling is normal. But neither one of us spoke. We didn't want to be found. Honestly, I was so sure it was one of my friends that I was holding back laughter. Eventually, Elle found everyone besides me and whoever else was back there with me. And Elle shouted, "Okay, Amy, I refuse to go back there and find you. You win." Which is usually how the game ends. But this time was different because there was another one of my friends back here with me. So technically I hadn't won yet. And I yelled back, "Well, there's 2 of us back here, so I guess you'll have to find us." They thought I was kidding. They brushed it off, basically like, "Yeah, sure, okay, Amy." But all of a sudden, whoever was with me literally disappeared. It was like someone had been sitting on top of me and basically just vanished in an unnatural way too fast to be a real human type of way. All of a sudden, the light comes on. I come out of my spot thinking I'd won. Everyone was upstairs in the kitchen, and I was the only one left in the basement. So I went to go upstairs to see what was going on, slightly annoyed that they had left me down there without warning. When I saw their faces, I was in shock. They all looked utterly terrified. I asked what happened, and no one spoke. Eventually, they all spoke at the same time, describing seeing a young girl in a white nightgown come out of the corner of the basement where I had been. I thought they were playing a prank on me for making them play the game, but then I was like, no, there was someone with me. So I begged them, "Let's play one more game."
What? What?
I promised to be the seeker this time. They reluctantly agreed.
What? Oh my God, I can't believe they agreed.
I know. Amy's like, "I want to see the spirit." Okay. So they all went to hide and I waited. They probably all stood like right at the entrance together.
Oh yeah. I like how she's like, "Oh, I want to see the spirit," as if the spirit hadn't just sat on her lap for the past 15 minutes.
But she didn't get bad vibes.
Yeah, that's true. And what fun for this little girl.
Right.
She's like, oh, we're hiding back here.
Yeah. Right. I get to hang out with my girlfriends.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling my way around the basement and I successfully found the first few people. I keep feeling, and then I feel an extremely cold hand. I thought it was Em, who always had really cold hands. So I made fun of her and I said, ha ha, I found you, Em. Then, all at the same time, I hear a high-pitched laugh from where I was standing. But simultaneously, Em came out of her spot on the complete opposite side of the basement. We turned on the lights, and no one was in the spot where I felt the cold hand. Also, with the laugh.
Yeah, who laughed?
All of my friends were horrified, and I loved it. This was the last round of the game we ever played, and that night...
Wait, now I'm kind of sad for this little girl who's so clearly enjoying playing this game.
Having the best time.
Yeah, she's at a birthday party.
Yeah.
She's at a sleepover.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is so fun for her.
It is.
You should have played more.
I'm sure Amy still did creepy things in the basement.
Yeah.
That night, they all slept over, and we kept talking about what happened. And I said, let's call the spirit Deb. They all hated me for it. But Deb didn't interrupt our sleep, and I lived in this house until I was 26 years old. Deb always hung out in the basement, and we practically grew up together.
Aww.
Whenever there was a babysitter I didn't like, Deb would mess with them. I love that. And
she's one of the kids.
I know. And the babysitter would always come upstairs terrified. My friends and I talked about Deb all through high school, and I was the only one who wasn't afraid of her. I really think she just wanted to be part of the game. After my family moved, I never saw Deb again, but I really hope she made friends with the next young child to move in. I'm still best friends with all of these girls who agreed to play my version of hide and seek. They're still mad and still remember Deb, and I actually told them I'm writing the story into your podcast, and now they are convinced that Deb is going to come back. I personally hope they're right. Sadly, my parents don't live in this house anymore, so I cannot invite you to play with me in the basement. I love the idea that Amy's like, bummer, I can't invite Corinne and Sabrina over to play hide and seek in my basement.
Like, normally I would say no to anything like that, but like this specifically, I do want to play with this little girl. I would have been maybe down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amy, let's buy the house.
Buy the house back.
However, if anyone else has a spooky basement and wants to play a game, I'm always down, and I bet we at least have one other spooky ghoul, whether living or dead, playing with us. Anyway, I have a ton of other stories. Happy hauntings. See you on the other side. Best, Amy, and hopefully Deb too.
Wow. It's just so wild that Deb was clearly so excited, so jazzed by getting to play this game.
I know.
That not only was she able to like physically be present for many, many minutes when initially hiding, but then the second time, like equally getting to play, getting to be like handheld. Touched. Potentially that, it sounds like it was her giggle.
Yeah.
Everyone saw her running. Like,
right.
She was so active.
She loved it.
She lit up.
And the fact that she was like, Amy, I got you. If you don't like the babysitter, leave it to me.
Right. Then she probably didn't like the babysitter either.
Yeah.
I wonder if she understood that it also, like maybe she thought it was also her babysitter, you know?
I love Deb. I want Deb to come back too. Amy, we're on the same page as you and hope your friends are right. I know that they're saying it as like a spooky thing, but I hope Deb comes to visit you.
I know. I've told this before, but I'll tell it very quickly again. That one time my brother and I were playing hide and seek and I went into the basement, which I normally never did. And I still, like, even as an adult, didn't want to go down there. But this one time I was like, oh, I'll just stand at the bottom of the stairs where you can still see a bit of sunlight from like underneath the upstairs door. And my brother will never come down here. And Christian checked all over the house. And then finally he's at the top of the stairs. He opens the door and then I hear him call, Mom, can you come help me look for Corinne? And I turn as soon as I hear my mom come because I'm like, oh shit, they're coming downstairs. And underneath the foosball table, it's a little boy. And he looks at me and then he's crawling, but it's like, it wasn't like a creepy crawl. It was like if you were a little kid and you were like, shoot, I'm caught. And then you're like trying to get to your next spot.
Yeah.
But it sure as heck scared me.
I mean, that is scary because you're not expecting it and you know it's not your brother.
Yeah. So I guess we also had another hider in our game of hide and seek.
So cute. It's creepy, but it's cute.
Okay, I have another game. Hello, hilarious humans.
Thank you.
Thanks. I was listening to the Encounters episode 291 and got reminded of this creepy fucking game my friends and I played at one of my friends' birthday parties. So jumping straight in, this happened when we were all 10 or 11 years old. I would like to remain anonymous, so please feel free to name me whatever you want.
Angelica.
Okay. I will also change the name of my friends because I like naming people.
Fun.
So this happened at Sally's birthday party. Sally, Mel, and I were friends since we were 5 years old, and we went to the same school, and we had the same interest in the supernatural.
Yes.
Out of all three of us, I was definitely a scaredy cat, and I was the most freaked out. I would freak out at the drop of a hat. But did that ever stop me from consuming horror media? No.
Why would it?
I don't remember who came up with this idea, but I remember we all agreed to play it. So before I can explain the game, it's important to give the layout of Sally's housing complex. Sally's family and her paternal aunt's family lived on the same plot of land. The two big-ass houses were a few feet apart from each other, and the front of her aunt's house faced the left side of her house. Sally's house had a small front yard, and beyond that front yard was a street, and right across the street was a field with a dead tree on the left corner. The tree had an infamous rumor that apparently some ghost resided there, and us kids were kind of wary about it for that reason.
It's like, where did that rumor come from?
I know. Maybe it was just like a very creaky, ominous looking tree.
Yeah.
And standalone. So Sally and her aunt shared a garden, which stretched from the back of her aunt's house to the back of her house. And this garden was really big with lots of beautiful big trees.
And pumpkins?
And pumpkins! Like neem and mango and stuff.
Oh, whoa.
Yum.
Exotic.
During parties, the adults invited mostly would be on the first floor of the house, and the ground floor was left to us kids. On this particular occasion, there were about 7 or 8 kids, the 3 of us included, and we not only had the ground floor, but also Sally's aunt's house to ourselves. The game was kind of a typical haunted trail game. One needed
A typical haunted trail game?
Yeah, I was like,
I'm
what?
like,
What is
I don't think I've ever played any type of
haunted trail game. One needed to start in the ground floor living room, walk through the dark hallway to get out of Sally's house, go to the garden, map your way through it to Sally's aunt's back door, scream, "I have reached!" and then hide anywhere in the house. Now, this is where things get a little weird because none of us knew where the other people would be, so we just knew the order in which we were supposed to do things. So the rest of the people would be scattered here and there and would try to spook other people going through the trail. And then we would all regather and take the next person to the living room to blindfold them and then turn the lights off. Oh, interesting. Okay. So it's like a few people, I think, have to do the trail, the course, and then others are scattered basically to scare and abduct people as they try to make their way through the trail.
It's very creative.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
There were no winners, but also no losers. It was just a game to see who can spook the other the hardest. After 2 people, it was my turn. I went to the living room. I got blindfolded. I waited for about 10 seconds, then removed the blindfold to utter darkness. And because this was an unfamiliar place, I was instantly anxious and was constantly bumping into things. The sound from the first floor was not filtering down anymore, and that made me even more scared. But somehow, I braved through the living room and crossed the hallway. I opened the front door, and as soon as I did, a cold breeze struck me. But that wasn't unlikely because it was the month of December. My eyes instantly fell on the dead tree. There was no moon in the sky, and the street lamp beside the tree gave out this dim light that caused a weird shadowy play in the tree. I thought I saw something, like a branch move, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was just my imagination. Nonetheless, I got scared and I instantly turned my back and proceeded to go back to the garden. The garden had very little light, enough to make things out and get your eyes adjusted, and also important to note that we do not have any flashlights in this game.
Of course. Why would you?
No.
That would make things way less creepy.
I could hear the wind blowing. I shivered every time, despite the layers of clothing. And though the sound of the wind passing through the trees is melodic most times, right then it seemed just so ominous. I could hear no one. Not the kids hiding in the bushes, not the party going on the first floor. No other sound from any other house, really. It seemed like I was in a vacuum. Nevertheless, I walked slowly, cautiously, debating running, and then a quarter of the way through, someone called my name.
Angelica.
My heart rate picked up and I told myself, oh, it's just got to be one of those bitches that I call my friends. So I moved on and someone ran from left to right behind me. Now, if anything, I know you should never turn your back, and I didn't. I probably screamed at the darkness to not scare me, which was stupid because that was the whole point of this game. But then it happened again and again. The sound of someone constantly running. And I got so scared I was actually about to cry.
Won't you turn back.
I heard from behind me.
No.
Instead of scaring me, I felt kind of comforted because now I knew, oh, well, I think this is my friend Mel's voice.
Oh, it's so funny because the way that you're doing the voice is a creepy old lady, like
Yeah.
living in a tree is what
Well,
I'm
in
picturing.
parentheses, she said it was like a witchy, like,
Oh,
yeah.
well, you,
So
you
it is,
did it well.
it is kind
yeah.
of like this. And so I said, no, you donkey, I won't.
No, you don't.
Then she gave up and said,
You're not fun.
and left again. It made me laugh, and then something caught my eye. A few feet in front, a little off to the side, I could make out a vague white silhouette of a girl, and she was standing with her back to me. It scared me, so I looked down. But then, after some time, I looked back up, and I saw that she was still there. I was looking at her upper body at first, but then my eyes trailed down, and I saw she had no legs. I screamed. I fell down, and thankfully, everyone else came rushing and tripping over themselves to help me. And we all went back to the living room, lights on this time. I was a mess. I was crying. I told everyone what happened, but no one believed me except for Sally and Mel. They couldn't completely believe it either because I also couldn't really believe what I had just seen. The boys kept saying I imagined it, that I was just too scared. I was too much of a coward to finish the thing. So I was backing out with some bullshit story. So I punched one of the dudes who said that.
Love you, Angelica.
The thing is, I knew I was not making these things up. I know I was not actively plotting a tale because I was too scared. None of us could figure out what it was, so Sally did the wise thing of asking everyone if somebody was hiding in that nook with a white bedsheet or something. And everyone said no. Everyone described where they were at the time. Mel also said that she talked to me when I was on the trail, and after confirming that there was actually no one hiding in that specific part, we all just fell silent. And then we went upstairs and we had some cake. In the mess of me screaming and crying, no one looked there to check if the girl, was still there or not. We were also just 10 years old, so nobody dared to go look. Later, I got to know of a rumor of the ghost in the dead tree. Well, supposedly, there is a girl with no legs because they got cut off in an accident.
Oh, I hate that. I thought it was just she couldn't show her legs.
I know.
Or only like, like the top half. Oh.
After years, the girl who went before me, we'll call her Amanda, she told me that when she left Sally's house, she thought she saw something on that tree, but chalked it up to her imagination. I don't know if this counts as a paranormal game, but that was really fucking scary. It scared me so bad. Bad enough for me to remember it now at 22, when I have a severely bad memory. Thank you for listening to my story. You guys have been a great comfort and a great step in overcoming my fear of the other world. Please keep doing what you're doing. I hope to meet you on the other side. Regards, Angelica.
Well, I mean, similar to like all of these stories, I feel like all of you were kind of asking for it because you're playing these games where you're trying to scare one another.
Okay, so you agree that you're asking for it when you play a game.
No.
That is what you just said.
No, I said because they're trying to scare one another.
Okay.
My goodness, Corinne, you just came on the attack.
I don't want to play the games.
You don't have to. I'm not forcing you. And I only would play certain games and set very specific intentions. Like the only paranormal game I would play is the picture game right now.
Which is the one I don't want to play.
Which is the one that you said you would play.
Like in a moment of weakness years ago.
1 year ago. And I didn't even prompt you to say it. But I won't force you to do something you don't want to do. But no, I feel like this is just a situation where, well, one, is it another example of the ghost girl wanting to play? Like, you're no fun. Like, will you turn back? You're no fun. Like, it's kind of the way that they all were playing with one another.
Yeah.
Like, it does seem like this entity was following suit. All of these kids are 10 years old. They're running around trying to scare one another, literally blindfolding each other, daring them to go through this, like, scary obstacle course. I don't blame the ghost for being creepy. She understood the assignment.
Well, I think it was Mel who was whispering.
Oh, I thought it wasn't.
Okay, so maybe we have some follow-up questions. I thought it was Mel, and then she was like, oh, okay. And then continued on, and that's when she saw the girl.
Either way, the spirit understood the assignment to be creepy.
To be creepy.
And scare people.
It's wild, too, because when she first opened up Sally's house to go out, she like thought she saw something in the tree. And then the person who went before her did, too. So I am curious, too, like, was she curious and she was, like, approaching the game and trying to figure out what was going on? Or just, like, watching for entertainment? Or is that just something like, is she always there? And they just don't go outside looking.
For the ghost.
So yeah, they don't see her.
Okay, well now I'm going to give another positive spin. What if it's a bunch of 10-year-old kids, all the parents are at the other house upstairs having, probably like some drinks, partying, not really paying attention to the kids because they're like, let them just have their fun. Is the spirit watching over all of the kids to make sure nothing bad happens?
Oh, because
of what happened to
had an
her, and like,
accident,
would
yeah.
she have intervened and protected them if something bad had happened?
Oh, I like that thought.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow. I'm shocked by you, but that's really lovely.
Well, now we have both Amanda and Cassidy to share some spooky stories with us.
And they are spooky.
They are spooky. So enjoy and go check out Drinking the Koolaid wherever you get your podcasts. And also check out the episode we did on their feed. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
We know that you're haunted. We talked a little bit about it on your podcast when we talked about paranormal games. But we thought it'd be fun to have you share some personal encounters with all of our listeners.
Which it sounds like you guys have a bunch and maybe even some together because you were hinting at some things.
Yeah.
Yes. Amanda always likes to joke that she wasn't haunted until she met me.
That's a fact.
And I kind of ruined that streak she had going,
I had literally never experienced pretty much anything paranormal, spooky until you and I started becoming friends. And then, of course,
God.
Cassidy, when we were in college, when we met, she decided she was going to make a Ouija board out of a Domino's pizza box. And that kind of set everything off.
I did do that.
The domino effect came after that. Yep.
Exactly.
You get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's the real stand-up comedian here,
But I think probably the most prominent experience that we shared together for sure was when we tried to astral project. We definitely invited something bad into the world on accident.
Wait, okay. So when you were trying to astral project, were you like laying next to each other?
Yes. On a couch.
Yeah, we were on a couch. It was like an L-shaped couch. So our heads were kind of next to each other and our body, like our feet were facing away. And we put on some pink noise because we had read online that that's how you're supposed to do it. And we picked a type of fabric to picture pulling ourselves out of our body with. Like I picked silk because it felt like that's like a fabric that's really easy to imagine, like feeling it in your hands. I don't know what you picked.
I think I just copied you because you were like, I'm going to picture silk. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good.
Like sold, let's do it. And so we put on this like pink noise or whatever, which is like a different frequency, but it's the same idea as white noise, just kind of like.
Yeah.
And as we're sitting there, the whole point of the video that we had watched, because we tried it a couple different ways, and then we finally found this like YouTube video and we were like, this sounds actually like it could work. And the idea was you picture yourself lying there and then you picture your astral self starting to pull at this rope that's above you and you climb out of your own body is like kind of the goal. It's the middle of the day, by the way.
Afternoon hobbies.
Just basic afternoon stuff.
Oh, and we should preface, we were in your dad's house.
Yeah, we were
So
at
we're
my
in a
dad's
house.
house, but my dad was out of town for work.
Is your dad's house haunted?
We might have accidentally done something to it. So it actually was a
Okay.
rental house because my parents had gotten divorced like just before. And so I had never even been in this house. We had just finished our first year at college. And so we were just staying with my dad for the summer trying to figure out what we wanted to do with our lives.
And how to astral project, obviously.
And obviously, astral projecting was on the top of that list.
Yeah.
So we are doing this, and I mean, I can't speak for Amanda, but for myself, like I felt it like start to work. Like it almost felt like a tingling tug, like at your fingertips and then like at my shoulders. And I felt like I could really feel or at least envision myself pulling out of my body upwards with this silk rope. Right as I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can feel it. I can feel like the tension about to pop of like me about to leave my body. That's how it felt, right? And all of a sudden we hear this really loud noise in the kitchen, which is behind us. And we both shoot up and we're like, oh my gosh, what was that crazy noise? And I look at Amanda and Amanda looks at me and Amanda goes, I was so close. I could feel it working. And I was like, oh my God, me too. But what was that noise? It was like this really loud, like crashing noise. So we go into the kitchen. There's nothing amiss. But as we're walking around the kitchen, we can hear click, 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 click.
I forgot about that part.
The whole time we're walking around, we're like, what is that noise? And then we look over on the coffee maker and the on and off switch on the coffee maker is just flipping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like somebody is physically touching it.
Oh
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is my first like real like experience seeing anything.
Yeah.
This also seems like it happened like relatively quickly into your attempt of astral projection.
I want to say it was like a good 10, 15
10,
minutes
15 minutes probably.
because
us
we were
trying.
laying in silence
Right.
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. But so
Jeez.
obviously we both get just so scared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, no more of that. And our favorite TV show at the time was anything really on TLC. So either Say Yes to the Dress or Toddlers and Tiaras. And so we were like, put on Toddlers and Tiaras, and I play guitar and Amanda sings. And so we were like trying to do anything that like to distract ourselves.
Right.
And so we end up muting the TV, and I'm playing guitar and she's singing. And about 30 minutes goes by and I can hear like a baby crying upstairs. We're home alone.
And there's definitely no babies anywhere.
That's horrifying.
There's no baby. And we're in a very isolated neighborhood at like the edge of the foothills in Arizona. So it's not even like, well, we're in an apartment building and there could be a baby next door. Like, no. And so I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is so weird. Like, there's literally a baby crying. And I look at the TV and I notice it's like Toddlers and Tiaras. And I was like, maybe it's something on the TV. So I like stop playing and I turn off the TV. And Amanda goes, why'd you do that? And I was like, oh, I just thought I heard a baby crying. And she was like, upstairs? Yeah, I hear it too.
It was loud.
I'm glad that you're at least in it together and you're both experiencing everything.
Yeah.
This is so wild because at first when you were talking about the noise happening, I was like, maybe there's something or someone in your house that doesn't want you guys to successfully do this. Like they're preventing you from having potentially a scary experience or opening yourself up. But I don't know, just like,
No, you opened yourself up.
yeah, the crying,
Yeah.
the baby crying. There's too many things.
No, we opened a door.
I was like, okay, like, let's just not go upstairs for a while and we'll figure it out. We're just going to pretend like this isn't happening.
We're
like,
gonna
go in
pretend
the-
like
right.
that baby is not crying
Yeah,
upstairs.
we go in the
Totally.
backyard despite we're in Arizona and it's like 112 degrees and we're just like standing in the backyard and like, I don't know, there's something about being in the sunlight and the heat and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
everything, that's all fake. That's all scary nighttime stuff. It's not nighttime. So we go back in, we play some more guitar, we watch a movie, kind of just like, ah ha ha, how funny. Don't think about it. And my brother calls me and he lives a couple miles away and he's like, hey, we're going to have like a little kickback tonight. Do you and Amanda want to come over? And we were like, oh yeah, totally. And then we like look at each other and we're like, crap, we're going to have to go upstairs and shower and get ready. So what we do is we go upstairs. Amanda sits on the toilet while I shower and then we switch because both of us are too afraid to be in the shower alone.
Totally.
And while Amanda's in the shower, I go to the bedroom we'd been staying in, like my dad's guest bedroom. And that's where all of our clothes are and stuff. And I go to open the door and it won't open. And it's not that it's locked. It's that I physically can't, like I'm trying to shoulder this door open. The knob is turning
My God.
and I'm trying to shoulder this door open and it will not open. So Amanda's like, what's going on? She freaks out. She jumps out, grabs a towel. We're both standing in front of this door. She thinks I'm just being dramatic. She's trying to open it. It won't open.
It felt like someone was pushing back against the door.
Yeah. I get down on all fours and like look underneath the door and there's nothing in there, but there is just the most ice cold air pouring out from underneath the door.
Oh my God.
Okay, not to scare you even more, but like we just recorded for your podcast for like over an hour, had no problems. But like the second you started talking about this story, your audio and video has like been blurry and
It keeps glitching and then there's random like a notification that keeps like almost popping up that we've never seen before and then it goes away.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
jeez. Okay, keep going.
That obviously we both just look at each other and we're like, we need to just get the fuck out of here. So we run back into the bathroom. I'm like, we're just going to wear our pajamas because we'd just been in our pajamas before we got in the shower. Like we're wearing our pajamas, but Amanda draws her eyebrows on. And that is like the one thing she will not leave to go anywhere or be around people unless she has her eyebrows on, right? It's like her thing. So she's like freaking out. She's trying to do her eyebrows. Her hands are shaking. She's freaking out. And so I'm drawing her eyebrows on for her, right? You know, real friendship stuff.
Yep.
And then we're standing there looking in the mirror because she's trying to decide if they're even enough or right enough or whatever. And as we're standing there looking in the mirror, I'm like, ow, what the fuck? And I look down and a welt shows up on my wrist like somebody had grabbed me with like a hot iron or something.
Yeah, it was like fingers. It literally formed in front of both of our faces.
And we're both standing there watching this happen.
Holy shit.
And we look at each other and we're like, okay, I don't care about your eyebrows, girl. We got to go. So we prep ourselves to leave the bathroom. I'm like, okay, the keys to the car are on the kitchen counter. I'm just going to literally scoot and run and grab them. We're going to run straight out the front door. So it's exactly what we do. We run, we grab the keys, get out the front door, get in the car, like kind of like, oh my gosh, how crazy was that? go to my brother's house, and we tell him when we get there, we're like, hey, we're staying here tonight. By the way, we're not going home. Like, we'll go back when dad gets back in town. Like, we're done with that house for a minute. And so we end up sleeping on his couch. And the next morning, we woke up and on like this super high window in the dirt, because it's Arizona, so everything's kind of covered in just like dust. In the dirt, there is a massive, long-fingered handprint above where our heads were on
Like
this
right
couch.
above my head.
Yeah.
Outside.
At your brother's?
At my brother's house. Yeah.
Like it literally followed you there and was like waiting outside for you.
Yeah.
It's like right above where my head was sleeping on the couch.
Well, what happened after this?
The rest of the time in that house, my dad used to complain and say that he felt like there was something in there. But luckily, it was just a rental house.
Well,
It
the
was-
toy.
Oh, the toy. I forgot about the toy. Yeah. My little brother at the time was what, 4 or 5? And sometimes we would stay in his room when he was with my mom or whatever. So we were sleeping in his room, and in the middle of the night, a toy starts going off in the closet, like some robot toy or whatever. So we're freaking out, and I grab it out and I turn it off. No matter how many times I like hit on off, it won't turn off. And then finally we like bring it downstairs and we take the batteries out of it, and it still won't stop or turn off.
We're hitting it with things.
We were hitting it with a hammer, and I went to go record it with my phone because I was like, this is so crazy. Like, I need to show people that it's making this noise and that the battery is taken out. And when I went to go look back at the video that I recorded, there's the first 2 seconds of it of like me talking, and then it just goes black, and all you can hear is on the video. We did something bad to that house.
But like, I almost wonder, did this happen because of your attempt to astral project, or was this already here?
I feel like there had to be stuff already there. And then like you opened a door that like has always been like, there were just like thousands of entities waiting behind that door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think us astral projecting definitely opened some sort of a portal.
It's probably good we didn't get to finish.
Yeah, thank goodness. But okay, so outside of this house, did you ever feel that presence follow you aside from like your brothers?
I mean, that's a hard question. I'm somebody who has had a lot of weird experiences since I was a kid, and like so have other people in my
Yeah.
family. So it's kind of hard to
I
piece
think
out what's
that you
what.
have something attached to you, no matter what.
Yeah, I have a friend who's like a pretty strong psychic medium, and that's what she's been saying for. I've known
Yeah.
her since I was like 15.
So astral projection's not for you.
No.
No.
When we first moved into our dorm room in New York City, her roommate, like literally the next day after they met, was like, so there was like a woman floating above you last night. And Cassidy was like, I'm sorry, what?
She's like, I didn't want to freak you out, but there was like a woman in white like hovering above you,
Oh.
like a lot of the night, and it was really
Cassidy, what the
freaky.
heck?
And then we find out that like that's like one of the most prominent ghosts in this
Yeah.
building that we lived in,
So you're a magnet.
or something.
Yeah.
She's a something, that's for sure.
Oh my God.
Well, no, duh, you've had so many encounters like at paranormal investigations you've done.
That's true.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
It's like they're coming for you. They're like, oh, she's here.
she's back.
Time to say hi to our friend.
Wow. Okay, well, that's quite the encounter.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I can't believe that the thing from your dad's house, whatever it was, followed you guys to your brother's. So how long did the welts stay on your arm, Cassidy?
2 or 3 days, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a real burn.
Yeah.
It turned more into like a bruise the next morning than like a burn, but it was hot. It felt
Mm.
hot when we were first standing in front of the mirror.
Amanda, was this like your first foray into the paranormal? I know you're saying like Cassidy kind of opened you up to everything, but like, would you say that's your first paranormal encounter?
I would say that's like my first true, like I saw things with my own eyes and I was like,
yeah.
how do you explain this? Like I literally watched the handprint form on her hand or on her arm. So
Jeez.
like had I not, I probably wouldn't have fully believed it.
Oh, yeah. Every time I tell this story, people are like, sure, Jan. You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, she was there and she would not lie to make this
No, it was
like,
terrifying.
whatever. Yeah.
My God.
Because we had a lot of experiences. Like we lived in a haunted dorm building, but once again, I had already been your friend by the time I started. Like when I first had sleep paralysis and everything, like we were already friends.
Yeah.
So would you say Cassidy is the reason for your sleep paralysis?
100%.
No hesitation.
No, she's definitely been the one to kind of bring this energy, I think, around.
It's my whole family. We're all like this. In my defense, and you guys live right there, I am descendant of one of the accusers of the Salem witch trials, and my family may or may not have a blood curse due to that. So
Which accuser?
The Proctor family.
No way.
Yeah.
You're famous.
To somebody, and most of them are dead, I think, is the problem.
You're pretty famous here in Salem.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait. So here's a question for you. Do you happen to watch Fixer Upper on HGTV?
I've seen it before, yeah.
Okay, so they fixed up the John Proctor house, and when they were doing the like renovations on the house, like restoring the historic property, which I think was purchased by someone in San Diego, everyone on set felt very uneasy, kept being convinced the place was haunted. They were like hearing weird stuff. Everyone was really spooked. And it wasn't until the show aired and viewers kept saying, "Who is that girl in the window?" that producers and like everyone who works in post even noticed that in one shot, one exterior shot of the house, there's like, it looks like Samara from The Ring, like a girl with like dark hair looking out the window in like a white period dress.
That's so
Perhaps one of your
freaky.
relatives.
Okay, I'm going to have to look this up after this.
Yeah, that's really freaky.
Yeah. I do wonder like if you went there, because I think they're turning it into like a community house or they want to or something like that. I am curious if you ever went there, what would happen since, you know, bloodlines and whatnot.
Yeah,
Your family
I would
members
like to
come
go.
out?
Yeah, right.
Something to think about.
No, I would like to go. It's so funny. My brother, he's the one who's really into genealogy, and he like did our whole thing. And I remember when he told me that, I was like, "You're messing with me." He like shows me
That's
the whole line of
wild.
it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Because we always have joked since I was a little kid, and even my dad a little bit that because my dad's had experiences too, like that. Our family is like haunted or whatever. And so when we found this out, we're like, okay, well, that's not helping anything.
There's a part of me that worries though, like what would happen to you coming to Salem? Like, would the energy be like way too strong for you?
Maybe, I don't know.
You'll have to come to find out.
Yeah, there's only one.
Yeah,
way
we're going to have to find
know.
out.
And we'd love to be there with you when you find out.
Well, I think now, like legally, you guys have to be there with us.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'd be quite upset if you didn't invite us, given that we live there.
Yeah.
So-
If you weren't cursed already, you'd be cursed after that.
Yeah,
Not
for
saying
sure.
we would do it, but we would do it. No, we would never. We would never curse anyone.
No, we don't need to. There's enough activity that already happens to people all around.
Yeah.
And clearly you guys are beacons, or like the energy that you two have together too definitely makes the spirits comfortable presenting themselves to you.
I do agree with that.
Wait, so now I want to hear about the sleep paralysis that you were having.
Oh, I mean, once again, I had never experienced literally anything my entire life. Like this was never in my radar, nothing. And I become friends with Cassidy. And one night I'm in my dorm room, I'm sleeping, or it's like the middle of the day, I think.
Yeah, you were napping.
I was napping. I didn't know what sleep paralysis was. So when you don't know what sleep paralysis is and you experience it, it's so fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
So I open my eyes from this nap and I'm completely stiff as a board. I cannot move. I can't speak. I'm like trying to make sounds. Nothing's coming out. And I'm alone in my dorm room. And I just can see at the foot of my bed this like big, tall shadow creature kind of like standing over my bed. And I'm trying to scream. And I can hear in my head kind of like a coming out, but nothing was.
Ugh.
And that lasted for like, it felt like a good 10 minutes. I don't know how long it actually was. But then when I finally came out of it, I started crying. And then I think I ran to your dorm room.
Yes, you did.
That's horrifying.
That is horrifying.
And then I also experienced sleep paralysis after we moved to Long Beach and me and Cassidy were living together.
Yes, we both got sleep paralysis a lot in that apartment.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that we shared a bed for a long time because we could only afford one bed when we first moved to LA. So we had a 2-bedroom apartment, but we slept next to each other every
Don't
night.
even call it a bed. It was a mattress.
Listen, times were tough.
Wait, so did you experience it in bed next to each other
Yes.
Yeah.
at the same time or separate times?
Usually separate, but a lot of the times the other one would have had some sort of like nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, I feel like this right here is just proof. I mean, obviously we believe in all of this stuff, but there are
Yeah.
so many people who are like, oh, sleep paralysis, it's just like the chemicals in your brain and blah, 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 and whatever. They're trying to explain something that we can't explain. But like, I feel like this is
Yeah.
proof too, because you together in this one spot had so many different bouts, I guess. I don't know another
Yeah.
word to use for it, but like so many experiences with sleep paralysis where you didn't necessarily have that a bunch elsewhere. So like, how do you explain that? You can't. It's because there's
paranormal.
And I've never had it again. Like once we stopped living together, I've never had it. Dang. And that's
Okay.
been 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah.
this is true friendship. that you guys go through all of this together and you're still friends.
We're very stuck with each other. I tell her this every time we get into an argument. I'm always like, I'm so sorry. You're stuck with me, though. They already decided. She's like, who's they? And I'm like, we don't really know, but they already did that. So
It's the universe. No, I joke with Corinne all the time. Like, Corinne doesn't have a sister, but like now she does. Because
same.
I feel like we are like sisters.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
friendship is like beyond any friendship that I've ever had. It's like it is closer to sisterhood than it is just friends.
100%.
And now we're tied by the paranormal too. So as are you.
Tethered.
Yeah,
Tethered, soul ties.
Yeah.
exactly.
Bound.
Like marriage, we got way more important stuff going on than marriage over here. Okay.
We got the ghosts or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for sharing your stories. They're
Thank you for having us.
honestly way more terrifying than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Holy crap. We hope that this Halloween season is good to you
Kind to
both.
you. Spooky
Kind
to you
to you.
both.
Sounds like based on the things you guys have shared, you'll probably be experiencing plenty and you'll have to update us.
Absolutely.
And can you tell our listeners where to find you and also like what spooky things they can look forward to this Halloween season over at Drinking the Koolaid?
Of course. So you can find us on anywhere you listen to your podcast at Drinking the Koolaid. You can also find us on YouTube, and we have a website, dtkpod.com. We're Drinking the Koolaid podcast on basically all social media. And we have some fun stuff coming up this October season.
We do.
We're going to be going to some interactive horror, guess haunted houses.
Yeah, they're like
What?
theatrical haunted houses.
Yeah, we're also going to be doing some more ghost hunting. And obviously during the month of December, we always like to dress up in ridiculous... October. We always like to dress up in ridiculous costumes for Halloween. So that'll be very fun.
Yeah, I love that you dressed up as a squonk last year. That is iconic.
I literally had no choice, It was calling to me.
She had to squonk it out.
It's the best. We just discovered the squonk this year, and I'm like, my life has changed ever since discovering the squonk.
Yeah. So sad. So cute.
He really is just like the best cryptid, I think.
Soul cryptid. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining our episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Please email us if you have any spooky encounters. If you've played paranormal games, please email them to us at twogirlsoneghostpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, Jamie, for editing and producing our podcast. We couldn't do it without you, and we love you all.
And we will see you on the other side.
Very spooky.